Hey, guys, gals, friends, family, co-workers. It's Frank Schwartz. This is the SEO show. It's Friday. It's Friday, of course. I'm going to be all over the place here with this crazy speeds and interrupti. Let me see if I can shut anything else down and make life interesting. Just to fill you in, we are going to have my man and your man, Ryan Stewart, on. He has to go adjust a little bit. He was here, but had to pop out. Now I'm just making so many buttons to push. And I hope you guys can hear me okay. I hope. I should be loud and proud. No, Ryan will be on and talk, but before he comes on, I just wanted to bring up something that my friend from Christine in Australia, I had to change the name of the Hangout. I added to the, man, these suckers are dirty. I had to add to the title of the Hangout, and we'll get Ryan's part here. I mean, I brought it up to him, and he is at all not surprised, and neither am I. Honestly, I'm disappointed. I think I just made my glasses worse by using cleaning solution. But what came up was Christine from Australia. I won't use her last name because I don't know if she wants that publicity. I'm sure she wouldn't mind, and she can chime in later if she would like. Brought up and just let me know of something which seems to be going around, is that Google Fonts, which is included. Oh, there's Ryan. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not much. Yeah, I'm in this. I'm a contractor for this big agency, and I'm in their office today.
Oh no, that's cool. I told everybody you were shuffling around. We are live. I was just getting to the point to talk about this web fonts, Google Fonts shit, real quick, and how pissed off I kind of am. But as I said, Ryan's not surprised. I'm not. Disappointed, but not surprised. Two things. Google's number one mantra is do no evil. And when money's involved, there are numerous histories of companies that start out that way, and then, profit has to be a motivator, and profit is not evil in the least. Profit, I think, should be one of your first goals as a business. But WordPress is a free alternative, CRM, whatever you want to call them. And by making certain connections and partnerships, they've given up freedoms, rights, and choices for their business, but also for ours. By using Google Fonts in the structure of WordPress, it's now reporting your websites, who you are, and everything automatically without permission.
Yeah.
Right to Google. If they asked me, I'd be fine. But even if you block something, as soon as you do an update, the CSS is rewritten and it updates. There's a couple of plugins that I will be on our website underneath this video. I'll give you guys the plugins. But realize this, those plugins have to be used before you do anything to WordPress. So as soon as you log into admin, if you're not using proxies or whatever, you're giving them all the data. This has been talked about since 2014 with WordPress 3.8 and up. There's ways, and this is the funny part, there's ways of blocking this without hurting your website and without interfering with any privacy things, because China makes it illegal for Google to be connected to their citizens. So they block all services, and it screwed up a bunch of Chinese websites that used WordPress because it slowed them down because they couldn't connect to the font servers. So it was this big shit. So with the OK Google release where they had to say that plugins for Chromium were illegally listening to you. We have people who have had private conversations between, lawyers and other executives open up the computers that were sitting on the desk, all this funny stuff. It's getting a little bit too fucking Big Brother for me,
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that this comes up because one of our clients, big advertiser with Google, upwards in the 5 million a year range. And yeah, big advertiser with Google. And first of all, banner ads, they just don't work anymore. The bounce rate is always up between 85 and 90%, all this super bullshit. But I mean, this is how big companies do it. They just spend money on media. But so Google is like looking for a lot of ways. I mean, Google knows this because they're getting a lot more and more complaints about how the quality of their media. I mean, if you really dig into the media that they're buying, they're on like .ru sites. They're on some pretty garbage sites. So they're really looking for more ways to, put this in quotes, add value to their clients. And one of the things that they came up with, I don't know if you've seen it, but Google is really starting to crack down on the local, the My Business listings. I actually just got one of my pages. So we have an office in Boston, we have an office in Miami, and I was ranking in maps for both Miami SEO and Miami web design companies. But
I saw that.
Yeah, I was using the same address, and I recently just figured out that they actually removed one of my pages until I fixed that. So they're really starting to crack down on what they're doing. I don't know if you've seen it. They're doing this. They're pushing this thing called My Local, which is kind of like a nice, clean UI for My Business, and they're really getting a big push to help local businesses get on the maps. I mean, as a marketer, we know why they're doing that because, the way user behavior is now, it's like people aren't even using search anymore, right? If you're on your phone, you're looking for, someone to change your tire, looking for a coffee shop, you go right to Google Maps. So the more businesses that they have on their maps, the better their product is, the more money they make. So what they're doing now, this is actually really fucking smart. You got to give Google credit. So they're going to these big advertisers and they're saying, hey, look, we can help you. We're going to make you a Google partner. And like when it comes to C-suite level people, this is like a huge deal for them. It's a dick measuring contest for them. They can say like, we're a Google partner, like this and that. Even though it holds no weight, we know it holds no weight. It all means that you pay a lot of money for shit media is what it really means. But so they're telling them, you're going to be a Google partner. We're going to give you a link to your site on this on the Florida My Local page, and you're going to help push local. You're going to help drive local business in Florida because this is a big advertisement in Florida, right? But what they're really doing, I'm sitting here as their marketing consultant. I'm like, guys, they want you to pay more money to have the privilege to promote a Google product, because what they want our client to do is go out and run webinars and Google Hangouts and train businesses on how to get on the maps. I'm like, you guys, are you that fucking stupid? And the client is not listening to me. They're going ahead with it because they're like, we're going to be a Google partner. We're going to help drive, more local business in Florida. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like,
I became one of those partners, and I thought it was the coolest thing. They sent me this box, and it had shovels and frisbees and buckets and pizza coupons and all this shit. And I was like, yes, look at me, I'm awesome. And then I'm like, wait a minute. They actually gave me the phone number to Google to hand out.
Yeah.
And I just turned over my possible client to these people. Mm-hmm. And I saw in a conversation last week, somebody asked, what's the best way of doing this and stuff, and getting, AdSense and, where's the best training? And somebody said, just, hey, call up Google, man. Just hit them. They'll take care of everything for you. And I'm like, well, absolutely. They'll say, how much do you want to spend? And they'll dump all of it. But one of the arguments was it won't be the best price. It won't be the most targeted. It's just going to be a cash dump into Google's pocket. And I'm like, that's almost like putting up a Facebook ad that says, I like chicks, and seeing who clicks on it. I mean, it's just, you're just random shit.
But that's what happens with these big companies. They have a really big budget to spend on advertising, and the only company that can fulfill that inventory is Google. So they end up
Right.
dumping, 10, 20, $30 million into banner ads that do nothing. But they have to spend it. I mean, it's part of their budget, so they just do it. But there is a lot of feedback. I'm working with the media team here at this agency for a while. It just doesn't work anymore. There's been a lot of lashback from clients. So, I think Google is really starting to look for other ways to monetize what they have. And a big thing that they're doing is data. They have to figure out a way to take that data and make it. I mean, at the end of the day, they are an advertising company and they're a data company, and they have more data than anything. And they have a scary amount of data. I mean, forget what's on your WordPress site. I mean, think about it. If you're logged into Google, the shit that you searched in Google, are you kidding me? Like, that shit can ruin lives. It's bad. So,
I brought up that that Google histories for where you've been with your cell phone the one day, and I showed my wife, and she's like, "How old is this information?" I said, "Oh, don't worry, honey. They say they only keep it for 30 days."
yeah, bullshit.
I'm like, that is such crap, because I mean, it is to the point where I was sitting down at a restaurant in Sedona, from like 2 months ago. I'm like, I don't even remember what I ate. Oh, they know. And it's tied into everything else. So when I get closer to that area, I'm going to start seeing some really cool sites on the map.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's where they're going with it. I mean, because the media is just shit, but being able to target based on, the personal profiles that they have built out for down to the person. You know what I mean? To just serve ads to specific people, if they can figure out a way to do that legally, I mean, it's a game changer. So,
well, I thought one of the coolest things was when they sent me my Google card for my Google Wallet. Hey, give us all of your numbers so that we know everything that you buy, because you just gave us permission to do it, and it's secure. But tie up all of your financials into us so we know exactly where you are, when you are, and what you buy, because we really want to be able to sell that information.
That's where it's going, man.
I saved the card. I didn't connect anything, but I've got the card in my wallet. I'm like, I should use this and just start buying some really freaky ass shit. So listen, one of the craziest things, man, that I've noticed is how you and maybe it's just because of the connections that we have or whatever, you have exploded in the past few months. I mean, you're writing for some of the biggest websites. Yeah. Your brand and profile and everything exploded. Mm-hmm. And again, if it's been, I know it's been building, but I mean, I'm looking at, you're announcing this, you're announcing that, you're over here, you're over there, and I'm like, holy shit, was I just not paying attention? Which is probably true, but no, it's just, is it just because you're reaching out and building relationships, or did you just start releasing some kick-ass, never before heard of content that just grabbed some big wigs, Neil Patel and all those guys over Moz and all that, and they just started to notice you?
Well, I mean, that's a great question, and it's actually the service that I'm really. So, it really started about 6 months ago. I've been doing SEO for a while now, and I was doing that whole, like rank and bank, churning out $500, $1,000-month clients, doing well, doing it. But I got to the point, man. I think everyone who is going to watch this is going to nod their heads. You get to the point where we're just like, fuck it, man. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? Everyone knows it. It's one of those things where, like, 2 years ago, you could just go buy some links and rank a local business, but it takes more effort than that. And all I started doing was like really paying attention and not even being like a white hat versus black hat, but I do what works, right? And what really, really works, honestly, it got to the point where like building PBNs, and like I just saw an article today about somebody who's like, you now have to like cloak your identity when you're logging into your WordPress site because Google's looking at your IP. I'm like, fuck that, dude. Honestly, like it got to the point where it's just easier to do things the right way. But the problem with that is that it's difficult to scale, and that's everybody's thing about white hat is if you really want to be an agency, you got to be able to scale what you're doing. So I started looking for ways to build my personal brand because I wanted to take on bigger clients, and it's very tough to pitch a big Fortune 500 clients if they don't know who the fuck you are. It's not like they're going to come to your website and be like, oh, you do SEO, let me call you up. That's not the way it works, And I really wanted to walk the walk and talk the talk and really take this white hat kind of content-driven approach and do it for myself first. Because if I can do it for myself, then I can go to people and be like, look, fuck a case study. Look at what I've been able to do for myself in a short amount of time. I can do it for your business too. So honestly, like it's not really that hard. It's just a matter of, what it really comes down to is just creating really good content. And I think it's a huge void, not only in the world that we live in with the smaller to mid-sized businesses, but these large companies that I work with. I mean, there's such a void for people just don't know what good content looks like, right? I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, content is king, let me start a blog, and they just start fucking blogging, but it's useless. You know what I'm saying? If people don't want to read it, if you're not speaking to what people want, if you're not finding what people want, and then taking that content and going and finding the right communities and distributing it to those people without spamming them, which is hard to do, it's difficult to do. So I mean, I literally just started writing on my blog and started writing about stuff that I was doing every day and stuff that I was seeing people talking about and answering questions. Really just, I saw one post about, like, somebody posted in one of the Facebook groups about silos, and I was like, fuck, I know all about silos. Like, let me write a really good blog post about it. And I did that, and then I pushed it in that group, and it got really well responded. And I mean, every time you get a good response, you just kind of keep going. So I just dedicated my time. I stopped taking on these clients, and I said, you know what, I do really well with my contracting and consulting work. I'm more than able to support myself in my lifestyle. Let me focus on making my revenue from that and freeing up my time to build myself. And it's just, like I said, it's just a matter of creating the content and then doing the outreach. I mean, I don't think that I really write that much better. I don't have any more knowledge than anybody listening to this. It's really not about that. I'm just taking the time to dedicate it to do that and pushing myself every time. I mean, I set a very, very high standard for something that I publish. I want people to read it and be like, fuck, that was good. Honestly, I have to. Otherwise, I don't publish it.
It's working because I mean, I've got my Feedly set up, man, and every night, I spend probably 2 hours in front of here just reading these articles or whatever pops up into that category. And very few, if anything, in these groups, these Facebook groups, I'll click on something and go spend time. But you hooked me in. I mean, I forget the exact article. I clicked on it and I was like, oh shit, man, it's tied to something I know, but it's fresh and it's new information in it. I know the subject. I mean, silos, fuck, everybody writes about silos.
Yeah.
But like you saying, I did this, look at me, and you did your presentation, and the first one I saw, I think you were on stage. It seemed like 2 minutes, but I know it was longer than that. And I was just like, wow, okay, cool. Now I see what he's doing. And we're doing the same thing with our agency. I got pissed off at the $500 clients, man. We fired 2 of them this week. Yeah. I'm like, damn, I'm spending more time on you than I am on the big boy.
Yeah.
And they're not even calling me. They're just like, oh yeah, I forgot. Hey, cool. Yeah, exactly. Just send me the invoice,
It's a line on their expense budget. Honestly, it really is. And they're not, and that's kind of a disconnect too, is that, a lot of these small clients, if they're paying you $500 a month, they need to see $501 in return. Otherwise, your ass is fired. It's not worth it, that stress level. Whereas if you're working with a big company, they understand. Marketing takes time. There is no magic button anymore, right? You can't. It's not even about rankings anymore. I mean, you just can't do anything. I mean, coming up with a good strategy takes at least 30 days, right? And it takes a lot of communication back and forth with the clients, and emails don't get answered. Like, it takes time. And if you don't have that, a company that has that built into their budget to take 6 months of paying you $5,000 a month before they can see a return, it's just not going to work out, right? It's bound, because otherwise what's going to happen is, even if you rank that $500 client, what happens is they're like, nah, I'm fucking ranked, fuck them, you know what I mean? Because a local business only has so many keywords. It's not like, it's like, what are you going to rank them like for? You can't rank them for anything else. So it's a losing battle, and I think everyone that first starts getting into it sees that, and then the biggest step comes from trying to make that transition from, how do I go from the $500, $1,000 a month clients to the $5,000, $10,000 a month clients. And it's a lot of things. I mean, number one, I said it's having that personal brand, which honestly, just in the last 6 months, I've seen a tremendous leap in the amount of clients that I've been able to get, and the people that are coming to me, because that exposure from like a Moz, from an Ahrefs. They see you writing for them, and honestly, it's a big stage to show your dick. Honestly, it's a big stage to get up there and be like, this is what I can do. So every time I write for a big site too, I try and bring everything, right? Because it's a big advertisement is what it is, right? Your face is up there, your image is up there, your Twitter's up there. So there's all this different association. I mean, and that's how the web works these days, right? It's not about that direct marketing, like, let me fire a banner ad, let me buy an email list and fire it off and get them to purchase like that. It doesn't work like that. There's, I hate to get all like brand on you, but there's a number of different touch points on the web, just like you said, right? I mean, you saw my article on Facebook and it caught your attention. You read it the first time, you're like, okay, like, this kid knows his shit. The next time you see it, you're going to click on it, and it builds that level of trust and respect, and fuck, now look at me, I'm on your show, right? I mean, that's, in itself, like, I'm doing this for a reason, right? This is a form of content marketing. Like, I hit you up 5 times. I was like, I want to come on the show because I want to do everything.
And I want to make sure and everybody else, I'm not dipping on anybody. It's just like I'm going, yeah, okay, but what can I give back to you by being on here? But like you said with the touch points, saw you on the Facebook, hit your site, saw your Twitter. Mm-hmm. Of course, I have not ever realized, I've been on Twitter for years, never realized the networking and you said, dude, touch point. Crazy. Man, I hit Twitter and all of a sudden I'm getting notifications from people. Yeah. Hey man, great shit. Hey, let me know if you ever need it. And I'm just like, it's Twitter, dude. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, Twitter's a tool, and it's that's the other things that I started realizing, that SEO in itself has so many touch points. I mean, I call myself an SEO, but honestly, what I'm pitching now is just what I call just organic marketing, right? Any form of non-paid marketing, that's what I specialize in, because Twitter plays a part in SEO now, YouTube plays a part in SEO. Anything that you're not paying for has an effect on your rankings, and it has an effect on how people engage with your content and your brand and find you and stuff like that. So to me, it's not just about your website anymore, right? I mean, this is a great piece of content for your brand, because if someone's searching for your name, your brand, this is going to come up. It doesn't have to be about your website, right? So there's a lot of other touch points, and Twitter's a huge one. Twitter is it's a huge communication tool. I mean, the reason why I've gotten on a lot of these blogs is from finding the right people, following them, favoring them, and adding value to them. Finding a way to add value to that person to get their attention without being like, hey, put me on your blog, right? Just like this. It's the same thing. It's like, they see you, they see my tweets, they read my stuff, and they're like, okay, like, this kid kind of knows what he's talking about. Like, let me answer his email now, right? So it's a process. It takes a lot of patience, but it's knowing how to use these tools. Slack, I don't know if you've been on Slack yet, but Slack is another huge one that, I just got onto it 2 weeks ago because I've been working really hard. So I've got kind of like the marketing blogs down, but, I'm trying to take this to the next level and get it. You can like pay to get on Forbes and stuff like that, but I want to have some connections at these websites where I can send a quick pitch to, and we can work together to get a client on there. So I started working hard to get on Forbes and stuff like that. So Neil Patel's brother, Sujin Patel, I don't know if you've heard of him. I've been following his work for a while. He's a really, really good content writer. Cranks out a ton of stuff. He just launched a new product for content marketing, stuff like that. But I read one of his articles on Forbes. He contributes regularly to Forbes, Inc. and Entrepreneur. I clicked through to his personal website, and he's got this thing on his website called Clarity. Clarity is this program where you can I have it on my site now, but it's a widget you put on your blog, and you just set an appointment to have a phone call with him. And he charges $5 a minute, but I'm like, fuck it. If I can talk to this dude on the phone, I'm willing to pay $200. So I paid $200 to talk to him on the phone. We talked for an hour. I built a relationship with him. I paid for it, but I told him, I was like, look, I want to get on Forbes. How can I do it? Because you write, tell me how to do it. So we had a long conversation, and then afterwards he invited me like 10 Slack groups. And I just landed 5 links from these Slack groups because there's one of the Slack groups that's all about, it's just a bunch of bloggers in there that are doing like roundup posts, and they're just like, here's a Google Doc, submit. I'm writing about growth hacking tools, submit a tool. So I landed 5 links in the last 2 weeks from this tool. So I mean, it's about knowing how to build these relationships, and honestly, like, fuck buying links, fuck building PBNs. Like, if you can just send a tweet or an email being like, hey, I got this, that's how it works. I mean, the people on top take care of each other. It's just a matter of finding a way to get into those groups.
Well, and here's the thing I see with that. I've been with Clarity for a while, and I did it because I saw that Mark Cuban and Shaquille O'Neal were on there.
Yeah, that's
and awesome. I'm like, man, if I had the cash, I think it's like $2,500 for an hour with those guys. I'm like, if I had the cash just to say, hey, You know, whether or not this was before the show, and I was like, just to call up and say, I talked to Mark Cuban today. You know, that would just be badass. But I think that once they talk to you, your personality, if you're not a dick, comes through and they go, hey, all right, like you said, hey, he's cool. Let me invite you over here. I'll let you into this little bit of an inner circle, you know, and then those people start to get you. Yes, you bought that connection in a way, and yes, you may have even bought that link, but that link is going to be so organic later on that it just blows up, man.
And again, what it all comes back to is having, number one, providing value. Like, look, I bought it, but I paid the dude. I provided him value, right? I mean, if somebody paid me to my clarity, like, first of all, he now knows who I am, and that's invaluable. To know somebody on a one-to-one personal basis is incredibly valuable, right? And number two, if it's all about having good content that represents you. So I mean, I'm more than comfortable having him know who I am, sending him a link to my blog, because if he reads that, I get his attention. You get him, like he tweeted out one of my links today and got 200 visits from it. You know what I mean? So like, just having that connection, it's crazy. And that's really what I'm learning a lot more about this whole space. It's really about who you know and what kind of value you can provide them, because now I just got hired to write full-time, not full-time, but to contribute regularly to the site called SitePoint, and it does 5 million uniques a month. Really big site, all about web design and entrepreneurship and all that shit. And they're paying me to write, but I now have that connection with SitePoint to link to somebody else and be like, hey, I just linked to you. Huge site, huge traffic, huge link value. They now know who I am, and they're going to reciprocate that later down the line. So it's really just about and this is exactly what Sujan told me. He was like, it's all about providing value. He didn't say it straight out. He wasn't like, you link to me, I'll link to you. But he was like, he said it without saying. He's like, if you provide value to me, I'll provide value to you. And honestly, he was like, that's how it works with everyone in my circle. He's like, we all link to each other, and we all take care of each other.
The very first point that you made that I want everybody to go back and hear is that you said kick-ass content.
Yeah.
If you've got shit on your blog and you say, oh, yeah, well, my blog's over here, and they go check it out, and it's just crap.
Yeah.
And you're right. We talked to a client this week, and they know that a competitor's coming into the market. Mm-hmm. And they're like, listen, we need to stay ahead. And every market these guys come into, they dump millions. So we need to really, and I said, well, it's gonna cost. Mm-hmm. And they're like, whatever we've got to do. And I said, well, you need content and you need good. And they're like, well, we don't have time. And I said, well, that's great. That's why we hire writers. Yeah. And I'm going to be talking with our writer, Mike, about, this is a huge project and it's going to be a long one that's going to pay him. And he gave me value by saying, hey, dude, I'd like to do your show notes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll pay you for it and this and that. But what I do now is I tell everybody, get a hold of Mike. Yeah. He writes. And if he fucks you up, you don't hire him again, but he hasn't. Everybody goes, man, this dude's good, So I love that. You have to give value overall, and it's got to be for free. Mm-hmm. At first, it's just to prove that you know what the hell you're talking about.
Yep,
that's awesome. So what do you charge on Clarity?
Not much. I mean, I just put it on there. I haven't gotten any calls yet. It's one of those things I just put it on there because. Like I said, I mean, so the reason why I was able to start, using these Facebook groups and Google communities and inbound.org, I mean, it's by providing value in those groups. Like, I didn't go into those groups and start posting links to my blog. I went in there and somebody asked a question, I would write a really, really good response.
Right.
Response. And that's the thing. And with these groups, it's about building your name in that group and getting to know the admins. And now all those groups that I'm in, like, I have a personal friendship with those admins, and one of the admins I send all of my website leads to, you know what I mean? So, it's a great symbiotic relationship, but it takes time to build. And I think the biggest mistake that people make is they're like, oh, I just joined this group, or, I got this great link to a blog post, you dump it in there. It just looks like spam because nobody knows who you are. It's, right. I started having success. It's crazy because I just wrote my first article for SitePoint. I wrote about Fiverr gigs, and I dumped it into that PBN group. And it got like 120 likes on that article, which is crazy. Right?
Yeah, that's huge.
And it wasn't even to my blog, but it came from me, and I've been building that kind of following that group, not like a following, but like people, I've been dumping good content in that group for a while now. So it took a lot of time to get there, though. I remember my first time I kicked out, and I'm kicked out of a lot of groups. I learned the hard way. But you know, it's about adding value and providing value and getting to know people. And it sounds like a pain in the ass, especially when you're talking about like black hat type people that just want to take a shortcut. But I mean, we're not talking about SEO rankings. We're talking about building a personal brand, which is something so much more. It's somebody like Patel or like a Rand Fishkin can fucking leave the CEO of a company and still make as much money as they want doing something else because they have that personal brand following them around the world. Right? I mean, I know Rand Fishkin right now, all he does is travel the fucking world and go talks to startups and he just gives talks and he charges like 15, 20 grand a talk, and it's so much better than running a company. Are you kidding me? It's because of his personal brand. So
but that personal brand, I think, you know, that's something that's so important. Not just your company, you know, everybody's got these crazy ass names to their company, you know, whether you're white hat or black hat, that doesn't matter. If you're doing black hat, you don't want to be known, you know, you just don't want to be known. Nobody wants that stigma because companies are afraid of that term. But when I talk to people, they're like, oh, you're that YouTube guy, you know, or you do that Google Hangout stuff. And I go, yeah, it's taken me, you know, 2.5 years of doing Google Hangouts and talking about it for people to go, oh, you know what you're doing. Yeah, a little bit. Well, can you talk to us? You know, and I partnered up with a local guy who's on the news here, and he's a real broadcaster, and he has a production studio. And he's like, dude, anytime, come over and hang out. Let's do some big things for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. You know, but it was because I've gone in and I've helped. I almost got kicked off of Quora because I answered a comment about Google Hangouts last year, and I dropped some links in there, but it was to the Google information. And they, you know, that, hey, you're not allowed to drop links to promote yourself and this and that. And I said, it says google.com. Yeah. I replied, I said, hey, that's not me. I was just giving links to the terms of service and what the rules were. And they came back and they're like, oh, so sorry. Hey, we're going to go ahead and boost this up and everything. And I'm like, badass, man. Hey, as I knock everything off the fucking desk. No, you know, it's just, I fought that content shit, man. I'll spin anything out. I got the best spinner. I've got the last spinner. I've got the shitty spinner. I've got it all, man. And I was just putting out for all that linking. And I just went, you know, damn, with the SEO show, we're just gonna put shit out there and see if anybody shows up.
Yeah, and
all of a sudden, man, people are just, you know, they're linking, you know, and pulling and doing embeds in their articles, and and they're like, hope you don't mind. And I'm like, hey, it's out there, it's in the public, man. Do whatever. As long as you realize that I drop the F-bomb like every 5 or 6 words, you know, we're good. I mean,
yeah, it's I'm glad you brought that up because I mean, what you're doing again, it's just such a misconstrued idea about content. Like everything's content is like a written blog. It's just this common misconception that like Google wants and needs fresh content on your site, and that's not the case. I mean, again, if you can't look at SEO as just about your website, right? It's about anything organic. It's how people find you on the web, through Google, through whatever, right? And this is a great piece of content. This SEO show is content marketing at its finest, right? I mean, you're picking what works for you, for your business, for your time, and something you enjoy doing. Right. And over time, it works, and it's
well, Matt Stack and Mark Luckenberg, you know, because they both came on the show and, you know, we got to know each other a little bit beforehand. And I was like, listen, I really need, you know, I need somebody to come on and kind of validate this thing. And, well, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, I don't give a shit. What? Just come on. You know, we're just calling it the SEO show. Let's drop some cool content. Everything that we talk about breaks into the SEO business. But I mean, we've talked to business guys who are like, you know, this is how you can run your business better. This is how you increase your profits, you know, and that all is tied into the SEO business platform. You can say one of these things to a client and they'll be like, oh shit, you know, never thought about that. And when people say, well, who are you? And I can honestly in a group go, well, I host the SEO show, and they go, oh, really? I don't say I'm an SEO guy. There's a fucking million of them in Phoenix, and they're all broke and half of them are fucking thieves anyways, and everybody's been burned. But when I say I run a show and we talk about SEO for local businesses and national businesses, and we bring on people who know what they're doing and we just talk, they go, oh, I'm going to check that out. Then I get the phone call that says, hey, dude, can we talk? And it's like, yeah, absolutely. And it's not cheap. But it does, I think it increases once people know that you're not full of shit and they can check you. I don't know if anybody's ever told you, but they go and look. They say, oh, hi, how are you? But they want to go see who you are. Before they accept that date to hang out with you or do anything. Who are you and what have you been doing? So no, that's cool shit, man. What are your plans? I mean, what's going to happen in 6 months? I mean, besides the epic beard and the beach photos. I didn't shave for today, so I could be closer to you, man.
Beard gang, man. Yeah, no. So, yeah, I'm glad you asked because I'm actually just I'm finishing this really what I'm thinking is the best piece of content I've ever created, right? I'm finishing it, and everything I'm doing now is the service that I'm trying to sell, right? So what I'm trying to sell now is I'm building out a true content marketing and organic practice, right? Where it's not just I'm going to write a blog for you. It's we're going to create an epic piece of brand content, right? So like you look at the guys that like Neil Patel does, right? That's what I'm building out right now for my site. I wrote it, I designed it in Photoshop, signing in Photoshop and with my developer right now, and he's deving the page. And it's the complete guide to content marketing. It's all about kind of what we talked about, building a personal brand, how to write content for the web, how to create different types of content, video, slideshare, all these different things, right? And then it goes into like incredible detail on how to promote that content organically, right? So, using Quora, using Reddit, how to do it the right way, how to, use Facebook groups without spamming. So it goes into all that. And my plan after that is to go out and promote the fuck out of it, right? So I've got a bunch of guest blogs lined up. I'm going to write for Moz again, and I'm just going to build a ton of links to it. And I want to rank it for content marketing because, and clearly in that guide it says, and this is where when you get good with content marketing, a lot of people try and sell without selling. I tell you right up front, like, look, I know this is fucking good. You know this is fucking good. I want to do this for your business, but it's going to fucking cost you.
Right.
And that's the service that I'm trying to sell. So I'm really getting into that. So I just hired two writers. So a quick note on hiring writers. I don't use any of the content writing websites because they're garbage, man. I don't like using that. Like I don't like having to be told to use a platform to communicate. I like my freelancers to be on Skype on demand so I can talk to you when I need to, right? So what I did, I went to Search Engine Journal and I pulled up all the writers from their staff page. I found the two youngest ones, two young girls, and I contacted them. I was like, "You guys free?" I was like, "I really like your stuff. Do you guys freelance write?" And they were like, "Yeah, of course." And they only
we do.
Of course they do. So they only charge me around 50 posts, and I got them writing for me a post a week. So I'm paying them. That's cheap for really good content. So I'm taking their content and using it for guest blog and stuff like that. But it's a service that I really want to start targeting large marketing agencies with because I could do it for other businesses in other verticals, but I know web marketing, right? So I can create world-class web marketing. So I really want to start taking this service to big agencies, the Deloitte, the Six, Nitros, and being like, look this is what I can do for you because who's marketing your business while you're marketing your client's business, right? So taking that idea, building that content for them and then distributing them and charging a fuckload for it. I'm talking like six figures to do this service. So that's really where I'm headed. I've been kind of building up to this and really figuring out how I want to build my agency for the future. Because like I said, I got to the point where I was running myself ragged with these small clients. But again, like I didn't want to do just like traditional SEO because it's not, I'm good at it. I could do technical SEO. I do it for a lot of these Fortune 500 clients, but it's just not something that I'm really interested in. I just don't think it's that important anymore. Like what I think is really important, I think you really want to drive traffic, it's not going to come from fucking, cleaning up your code. It's going to come from creating really good shit, interactive content, and then.
Oh man, did I lock up? Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. We paused.
So that's my plan. It's come about in a long way. But then, just to continue to push my brand. Like I said, I'm trying to write for whoever will have me write for them, talk on whoever's show. I'm doing a lot of speaking events now. I'm trying to build myself into somebody who, an influencer in the space. And it's a lot of work, but I want to keep doing it. And then from there, be able to target these really large companies and provide world-class content marketing service. I'm not talking about we're going to manage your blog, we're going to manage your social. Proven shit that I'm going to create something and then I'm going to build, links from Forbes, search engine. Really, really, really good websites. So just provide a really valuable service that I can then be like, look, I'm getting you the best promotion in the world, so I can kind of write my own ticket in terms of this. And like I said, working with these big companies, I know that there's a huge void in this content marketing thing because I'm going through this process with one of these Fortune 500 clients for creating content. And just the way that these corporate companies write content, it's like they're press releases. It's not interesting. They wonder why their bounce rate is 80% and it's not working. And you try and tell them, this isn't the way that people skim. You got to write for skimmers. You got to grab people with your headline and get them to read more. You can't just be write a fucking 5-sentence opening intro and think people are going to read the whole thing because they fall asleep.
God, man, you are. That is, I can pretty much read an entire article because I read the first sentence.
Exactly. And
all the way down. I don't care. I saw one that scared shit out of me. It said, this is a 10,000 word article. And I went, whoa.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Not happening. I think I read the first 2 paragraphs. I was like, yeah, I'm out. There's print to, file. It's going to go on the hard drive. I'm never going to read it. But let me know, man, because I want to know. I know Reddit's been around forever, and everybody's going to be like, you're an idiot. You don't know what Reddit is. I don't. I know what Reddit is, but I don't know how to use it or use it properly. I can spam the shit out of it. I can spam it like crazy.
I can tell you right now. So, in my guide is strictly white hat kind of promotion. It still gets into the basics of how to do it, but it's really white hat for targeting clients. But a lot of the promotion I do for myself is definitely gray hat. I was actually just almost kicked off inbound.org because have you been on Inbound before?
No.
Inbound is a really, really good place for if you're to promote marketing-related content and entrepreneurship-related content. Huge community. All the top marketers in the world are on it. And I've had tremendous success promoting content there. But, again, it's kind of been spamming it a little bit. But, definitely check it out. But it's a great place. But, with Reddit, I've had good success with Reddit with kind of doing a mix of both. There's really a couple of things. Number one, you have to find the right subreddit. What a lot of people do is when they post, they'll just go right to the post page and be like, oh, let me post to online marketing without reading it because each subreddit, they're really, really different. They have guidelines about what they want to post and what that subreddit is about. So the biggest mistake that I used to make was just being like, oh, I have an article about ways to build a business. Let me dump it in business. And then every time it would be like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't paying attention.
that's hey, I'm posting a link to my video. Okay, that works. It's like, dude, nothing about this. These are home movies, It's like, God, shit.
So number one is finding the right subreddit. Number two is making sure that the content on the back is you'll get killed if it's garbage. I've tried to promote garbage on there before, and you get what you expect. And then number three is having an account with karma built into it. So karma is huge on Reddit because Reddit's a desktop platform, right? People will actually click through to your profile and see what you've been posting in the past. And if you've got a brand new profile with, posting from the same site over and over again, it's never going to get upvoted. So you have to have an account with karma, and you can either do that 2 ways. You can build karma by just posting random stuff from CNN and just good timely articles and getting upvotes. That builds karma, or you can just buy an account. So I bought 2 accounts with 10,000 karma. For $100, it was really cheap.
Uh-oh, everybody's going to go look. How do you scrape for karma?
I just did a Google search for buy accounts with Karma, and I bought it off some dude in the Philippines for $100, and it worked because I have those accounts now with trust. I mean, I don't use Reddit that much because you have to have there's actually not a good community for online marketing material, but there are for other types of material, you know, which I use for clients. So I don't use it a lot to promote my stuff. I use Inbound. I use Growth Hackers. I use obviously the Facebook groups. I use Google Plus a lot too. I drive a lot of traffic from Google Plus communities. A lot of traffic.
Are you worried about Google Plus? It's going away.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is that like I keep on reading these things, but I shit you not, I get about 4,000 to 5,000 visits a month from Google Plus.
Well, you're in that. I've always said when Google Plus came out, I said it's Facebook for geeks. You know,
it is.
It's the higher end, geekier, executive type.
There is. And there's a lot of spam on there too. I mean, there's a lot of spam on Google Plus. But I mean, all I do is on Google Plus, I use communities. I just go to these communities, and they have like fucking huge communities of like hundreds of thousands of people, like really, really massive communities. And I post in them, and all I do is I have my VA go through and just for my account is +1 like the last 1,000 posts. So all these people it's bad. So all these people get notifications from me, and they're like they see my shit. And then they +1 mine back, and they visit my site. And again, if it's good content on the end, like so, this is kind of the line that I always draw between spam and non-spam. Like spam is I use spam tactics to promote it, but because my content is good, people don't really care. And I have a lot of spam on Twitter too. I have like 20 different profiles that I have a bot running on Twitter for. That's just liking and retweeting a bunch of tweets, and they're just constantly tweeting my stuff. So I got actually this comment on my blog a couple weeks ago from this woman who was like. She was like, you know, I really don't appreciate you spamming my Twitter with like a bunch of +1s and stuff. And she was like, but great article. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to apologize because number one, you read my whole article. Number two, you took the time to comment on it. Like, I do what I got to do to promote my business. All right, like don't fault me for it. So I use a lot of spam. But if you have good stuff on the back end, it's just it doesn't matter to people. You know, it's crazy.
I hate Geico commercials, but I watch every one of them. You know, it's just that it's an annoying factor that entertains, but if you've got good content, use whatever it takes to get it out there. And that to me is that's not gray hat. That's using the best of everything that you can figure out to promote yourself. I mean, every business out there should be doing that. You know, it's you don't have to spam. But damn it, you reach out and you connect. And one of our clients is a weight loss center, and they went after men. Mm-hmm. So instead of just saying, well, we do this for men, they created an entire office called the Man Cave, where it's just got big TVs and it's sports and it's, you know, motorcycle parts and all this. I mean, and it's just a mind blow. But you walk in and it's a chick place. It's extremely professional. 90% chicks, but the dudes walk in and they know they're going to this blacked out room for sports, and they're gonna get their fat sucked out, you know, or whatever. It's just it's one of those wow, that's awesome. So it got them promoted on all these network TVs because they're like, a man cave, you know, at a business that does this. That is so wild. And you see these big burly dudes walking in going, yeah. Gotta get the stomach sucked. And, you know, it's like, that's perfect. And they're like, but we don't want to be seen as that spammer. And I said, you're not. You're just telling the world about your shit.
It's content marketing, man. It really is. It's offline content marketing.
That is, it's incredible. Oh, fuck, man. This went fast.
I did.
What can I do? What can we do as a community to get in touch, stay in touch? If anybody wants to spend time with you, the first thing I say is, hit him up on Clarity, because I'm probably going to do that myself. I've got let me see, I've got 12 days and I'm moving into a new house. So I'm like, there ain't shit happening in my life. So stressful, this crap. But if you're in Florida, go hang out at the beach, look for him. If you look in his pictures, you can see the boats that he's by. You can track them down through the boat registry and find out. No, I'm kidding. No, but how do we connect with you on the different platforms?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter. I've been a lot more active on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Ryan Was Here, RyanWashere. Facebook, add me as a friend on Facebook. You know, I do my best to answer Facebook messages and stuff. Check out my blog. I have an email list. It's a newsletter. I shit you not. I have a couple thousand people on it, and I have never not sold one product and never will. It's literally just to send my blog updates and some other ones that I find. So you can do that. Yeah, I mean, I'm around. I mean, you see me on these things. I'm around. Just don't be shy. Yeah, Clarity. I mean, and I do provide a lot of information on Clarity. I mean, especially when it comes to SEO stuff. If you're having SEO and you need help, and you can't afford service, then hit me up. I'm more than willing to help you out with anything.
That you know, a lot more of the SEO guys need to look at something like that, and start your price off a little bit low, and you'll get more traction. I've been on there forever, and I've had like 3 or 4 phone calls, but you know, people are like, "Damn, dude, you charge a lot," and I'm like, "Well, I've got clients who are paying a shitload."
Man, yeah, I think I'm like $250 a minute. I think I set it for like $100 an hour, which is my consulting rate. So about the same thing, but. No, I mean, I really do. You know, a lot of people try and hide what they do. I'm very open. I mean, I write about it on my blog. I literally, if you want to know how I do SEO, I write about it, because honestly, I don't think there's any secret to it. It's really, really hard. It's a lot in terms of a lot of effort these days, but it's really easy. Like, it's build a fast site, build a nice looking site, build some really good content, and then go promote it. And, you know, that's really all there is to it. And you know, if my site is any, you know, it's literally a crazy hockey stick that just keeps going up and up. And my search traffic, I mean, it's going through the roof, and I'm not spending any money on it. You know what I mean? I haven't spent $1 on anything, and it's just going through the roof. My leads too, you know. So it's don't overcomplicate it. It's not about, like, you know, masking this and buying Web 2.0. It's like, fuck, man, just go get some good links. That's all you need to do. It's not rocket science.
Before I wrote the title to the Hangout and everything, because, you know, try to SEO it, try to make. I did that before. Now I just write something that's just like out there, and I looked at your Facebook and clicked through, and I'm like, okay, organic traffic. I got to see this, you know, and I'm like, that's exactly what I try to do. Just put something out there. You know, I tell people, you want to know what people are looking for? Get on Quora.
Yeah, exactly.
They're asking. Yeah. You know, and if you answer a couple of times, shit, they'll send you the questions.
Yeah.
You know, just like Amazon. I got to be well known for Amazon and got some products sent to me because I gave a review.
Exactly.
You know, and it was a good review, and people liked it. They upvoted it, and Amazon said, "Hey, we want you. You know, can we send you this?"
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, it's badass. Let's do this. Thanks, man. I'll send everybody over to you that I can, guys. You know. We're going to have the links below the video on YouTube. Get over to the SEO Show website, all the show notes. Links to the shit about WordPress is going to be over there. I appreciate you. It's been an hour. Get the fuck out of here. Go enjoy your weekend. Drink a beer. Have sex. Do whatever you're going to do. But I appreciate it, man. I really, really appreciate you coming on. And if I can ever do anything, please reach out.
Yeah, same, man. I'm around. I appreciate it.
All right. Listen. Peace, man.